Well, Reverend John Intimfojo of the Minority has raised serious allegations about suspected drug trafficking involving 2 aircrafts that landed at Kotoka International Airport. He's faced criticism, but insists he's simply asking national security questions. President Mahama has directed all relevant security agencies, that's NACOC, NIB, CID, etc., to investigate the matter. And we've got Honorable Peter Tobu on the phone lines. He's the MP Wa West and also Vice Chairperson of Parliament's Committee on Defence and Interior. We're going to put some more flesh on the bones this morning. Honorable, hello, good morning.
Good morning, Helen. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing this morning?
Grace has found me. I'm fine.
Thank you so much for joining us on the program. It's the hottest topic, if you will, this case of alleged drug and currency smuggling as put forth by the Minority, Reverend Intimfojo to be precise. And he's a ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee, for which you are the Vice Chairperson. Now, I wanted you to take a listen to this, and then I'll come back to the conversation. And it's you'll be hearing the voice of former Deputy Minister of Defense, Kofi Amankwa Menu. He's saying that your government must allow the investigative bodies charged by the president to look into the alleged aircraft with drugs and to do their work effectively. Let's take a close listen, and then we'll come back and expand on the conversation.
And today, also, I find it a bit absurd to hear people attack the personality of Intimfojo. It's neither here nor there. An allegation has been made. He's called on national security and the institution close to the authority to undertake investigation, to answer to let the Ghanaian know exactly what is happening. Is that a crime?
The concern now is that he who alleges must prove. And so they want Reverend Intimfojo to prove his allegation.
The Reverend Intimfojo is saying that the aircraft was an air ambulance. We were expecting to see patients in there, or after leaving, because it landed on 20th of March and left 25th of March. And what is even funny around the whole incident is the fact that we are told, and this is common knowledge, I read it on social media, that the day the aircraft left the tarmac of Kotoka International Airport, there was a total blackout. Does that not call for a lot of questions? We are asking questions. We have the right as members of the Defense and Interior Committee to ask government questions, and that is exactly what we are doing. Government must allow institutions to work. This does not call for attack on the personality or on the person of Reverend Intimfojo. We are asking questions and we want answers.
On the Committee of Parliament, and as a member of the committee, do you have evidence to back the claims?
Well, do you want me to show you my evidence? We are on it. And when push comes to shove, Ghanaians will know where we stand. Thank you.
All right, again, that was the voice of former Deputy Minister of Defense, Kofi Amankwa Menu. I still have Honorable Peter Tobu on the line. Honorable, the President has already ordered investigations into these alleged trafficking allegations raised by Minorities Reverend Intimfojo. Why hasn't that calmed the public discourse or suspicions?
Thank you very much. Let me say good morning to your charity viewers and listeners. This is a very simple matter that we finally succeeded in complicating because we've given it too much currency. Why am I saying this? The ranking member of the Defense and Interior Committee, the committee in which I serve as the Vice Chairman, Reverend John Intimfojo, is a member of Parliament and understands parliamentary procedure. There is no parent in this country who will walk into Makwala and start shouting about the performance of his son. I want to find out how my son is doing in school. Your son is in Legon. If you cannot walk to Legon to find out how your son is performing, if you start shouting in the market, it will become news. Your son will even get to hear in Legon, he will be wondering, is my daddy okay? As a member of Parliament and a ranking member, you have unlimited access to the institutions and ministry that you have oversight over. As a ranking member of the Defense and Interior Committee, you have the right of oversight over the Ministry of Interior, the Ministry of Defense, either to the Ministry of National Security. Now, the Interior Minister has oversight responsibility over matters of national security. You can ask questions. Nobody can stop Reverend Intim Fojo, Honorable Member of Parliament for Asinsat, from asking questions. But where do you ask your questions? You ask your questions at the committee level. You ask your questions on the floor of Parliament. How can you ever start as a member of Parliament, a ranking member, asking questions using the media? It baffles me. Why did it ever happen? Honorable Kennedy Japan, a tough-talking personality we know in this country, chaired that committee in the 8th Parliament. And not for once have we ever heard Honorable Kennedy Japan making pronouncement about matters within the Defense and Interior Committee. I am shocked. I'm surprised. Why? Because Honorable Intim Fojo, he's a fine gentleman. He understands the rules and regulations governing the Interior and Defense Committee, that we don't do partisan politics in there.
Is that what's happening, would you say? That it's a pure case of partisan politics?
He's introduced excessive partisan politics into the matter. And that is why I support the president with all my heart. That, listen, NACOC, Narcotic Control Commission, National Intelligence Bureau, the Criminal Investigations Department, all of them should come together and collaborate with the honorable member of Parliament to investigate the matter. These are serious allegations. And after the investigation, when you have a report, they should come to the committee and brief us. What is the outcome? But I'm sure that this could have happened even at the committee level, where all the ministers were with us during the budget hearing. Honorable Muntaka, a member of Parliament, is always with us. Honorable Dr. Omani Buama was always in Parliament, always at the committee meeting. And we had access to them. And the rule is simple. Put the question before them. These are pieces of information that are picked. And these are damning serious matters. And you look at it and brief us. After the briefing, if you have enough information to supply, you do that. We are looking at national security. We are looking at our national image. And we are looking about responsible politics at that level. So if that is done, when the report is ready, they will quickly come and brief the committee.
Now,
if we are not satisfied and we think that the briefing should be extended to the plenary where all the MPs will be present, normally we have committee of the whole. Everybody is present and will listen to matters of security. We have never for once carried matters of security into the media landscape and bandied it around like this. I'm surprised.
Now, Honorable, let's take a look at the timeline of events. We know that Reverend Intim Fojo called that press conference on the 1st of April. Now, subsequent to that, in a letter dated April 2nd, addressed to the chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee, requested that the National Security Ministry, the CID, NACOC, and as well as the NIB, the National Investigations Bureau, appear before the committee. Is this a case of putting the cart before the horse?
Beautiful. When I saw Honorable Intim Fojo's letter to the chairman of the committee, Honorable James Agalga, I smiled. And I said, well, if you have served in other committees and this is how you used to do your things, the Defense and Interior Committee, probably we need to all learn together. This is a no. This is wrong. You don't hit the media and come back to committee when you are actually the ranking member with so much power at the committee level. And the chairman responded rightly. Oh, you've thrown matters out there. The president has directed that these agencies should collaborate with you for us to delve into the matter. Please go and do the collaboration. When it is done, your letter will be ordered. We will convene a meeting, and then the minister responsible can come and give us briefing. And I'm sure at that time there will be a lot of substance in the briefing that we will get. If you wanted to be asking questions, there is a platform for you to ask questions. And that platform is your platform, your own platform, the Defense and Interior platform. Nobody stops you from that. You have unlimited access to the minister in terms of asking questions and seeking information. You know. But what you opted to do, probably there is a better way of doing it and you want us to learn. Please go ahead until you end, then we'll come back to the committee for a better briefing. And I supported my chairman's position 100%. How can you do that? Today, he's saying that nobody has invited it. I am surprised. Ranking member of the Defense and Interior Committee that is thinking about the security of this country, if I were him, with so much information that can help this nation protect our integrity, protect our image, and fight the war against drug abuse and related matters, I will walk to the Narcotic Control Commission and look for the Director General. I will walk to the National Intelligence Bureau and look for the Director General. I will walk to the CID headquarters, make a choice. But because of the directive of the President, of course, when you have NIB, CID, and NOCO coming together, I'm quite sure that the NIB will provide leadership in the collaboration process. You go to the NIB, they are your people. They are all working under the ministry that you have oversight over. You don't have a problem. Walk there and provide information to support them. Why are we not applauding the NIB for busting the cocaine that is worth street value about 350 million? Why are we not applauding them? Why are we not applauding national security for busting about 12 containers that contain some suspected gold and suspected dollars? Why are we not applauding them? Is it possible for somebody to stampede the national security during their investigations and tell them that you wasted so much time, you have to come and brief the public?
I mean, in fact, Reverend Ntimfodjo states that we should be getting some updates on all these busts that you have mentioned. He says, what has become of them? What is the latest on these particular issues, on these busts? He says there's some tardiness on the part of government.
That is exactly the reason why the people of Asino voted for him to represent them in Parliament. And the caucus, MPP caucus in Parliament, picked him out of the lot to represent them at the Defense and Interior level as the ranking member. So, Honorable Ntimfodjo stands in line as the leader of the Minority Caucus on matters of defense and interior. Honorable Ntimfodjo stands in the line as a representative of the good people of Asensa. So, Honorable Ntimfodjo has a platform to ask questions. He has a platform to seek answers. He has a platform to provide information to support national peace and security. Honorable Ntimfodjo should not be found roaming from one radio station to the other, one TV station to the other, speaking wildly, as if he doesn't know where to go to. We don't do that anywhere when it comes to matters of security. And I've said this on many occasions, and I've cited this example using the former chairman, Honorable Kennedy Ohina Japan. Not for once did he ever make statements about happenings in the community, because if he needs a minister in the afternoon, he will call him. And Honorable Kennedy Japan has so much information. He provides the information. The minister says, we are aware of this. We are not aware of this. Let me cross-check and come back. He goes and cross-checks at 48 hours. He comes back and says, this is the brief. And they say, oh, yes, we collaborate to ensure that this nation remains peaceful. Because without Ghana, your party, political party, has no standing. No political party has a leg without a peaceful Ghana. And not even be there. Democracy. So we do so much at the committee level to ensure that we are looking at the perspective of national security, not our political leanings. We can't continue like this. I mean, let's allow Ntimfodjo to collaborate with the security agencies, provide so much information that he has. Let them investigate this matter to clear or probably indict people who are involved.
Now, Honorable, on the case of collaboration, it's now been exactly 1 week since the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, ordered that security or investigative agencies reach out to Reverend Ntimfodjo to get more or better particulars on these allegations that he has made. What is the update on that call by the President to the investigative agencies?
Thank you very much. Let me remind you that apart from being a member of Parliament and Vice Chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee, I'm a police officer with 25 years experience. I've served as a police officer 25 good years. So it's not everything that we put on. He said that not invited him. Nobody has called him.
That's what he alleges. He says he's not heard from anybody.
Yes, that's what he said. But I'm encouraging the leading agency in these matters, the National Intelligence Bureau. Please, can they, if you think that you are calling him and he's not coming, he's a member of Parliament, give him that due respect. Can you write a letter to the Honorable Speaker of Parliament to release him officially to collaborate with the investigative team? If they do that, I'm sure that the Speaker will honor it, to release him by our standing orders, and then he will go and support them to do these things. The President's directive will not be taken lightly, no. But I'm sure that by the close of this week, we'll get to know if my brother, Reverend Ntimfodjo, will voluntarily go, or he will be invited to come and support, or a letter will be written to the Speaker for him to be released. Whatever it is, but I'm very sure that the collaboration will go on. And then, at least, when he provides so much information, yesterday I was watching some videos with my brother, Majority. They were doing some things, and I was watching, and I said, oh, all these things are good. Why are you finding yourself in the TV station Or probably you don't know where to go, ranking member. You should know where to go.
Honorable,
If you don't even know where to go, no problem. I'm sure that very soon we will get there. He will be officially invited. If a phone call doesn't work, a letter to the speaker to release him will work, and then we'll take it from there.
Certainly. And Honorable, because you talk about Reverend Tim Fojo going from station to station, as you say, let's talk about political optics. Let's also talk about public confidence. Now, some critics say that the government's handling so far of this issue appears reactive rather than proactive. Would you say that that's fair? In some quarters, the allegation is that government is stifling the MP's oversight duties.
Thank you very much. If anybody understands what oversight is, and the role of a ranking member, virtually a shadow minister, heavy weighted in the committee, nobody can suppress the will of the ranking member in line with procedure. Nobody can do that. And there is no way the ranking member, you see what he did. If there were no public pronouncement, he had written to the chairman requesting for that meeting because he had so much information. Leadership would have met, look at what he had, and we would have invited them to come. After all, we just rose. When we were together, we scheduled some meetings even in the holidays. We had to come back and do work for this country. He never raised that issue. If not, it could have been part. We have just fixed the date for the minister to come, and we'll fix the date that all of us will come back to us and meet the relevant minister to give us briefing. So when we do all these things, we have our work plan outlined, and then all of a sudden we are on holidays, and you raise the matter on air. And when we talk about it, he should reconvene. Oh, please, don't do that. We should reconvene a meeting and bring a minister. Government will not suppress him. Government is very responsible, and government, under the leadership of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, has taken the matter so serious that he's directed the CID, NACO, NIB, please collaborate and to the bottom of this matter. But let's leave it there. The President's directive will never be taken in vain. It will work, and the President will be happy that his agencies are working. Parliament will be happy that our colleague, Honorable Tim Fojo, has collaborated, and whatever will come out will be for the good of this country.
Now, Honorable, given Ghana's past with narcotics and its image as a peaceful nation, what systemic safeguards are currently in place to prevent infiltration by traffickers?
Thank you very much. The national security architecture is designed in such a way that it is supposed to prevent drugs from entering this country. But that is prevention. If you fail to prevent, you should not fail to detect. And if you prevent it doesn't work and it enters the country, you should be able to detect it. And that is why I'm saying that we should approach the NIB. 350 million worth of cocaine busted. That is the class that we should be talking about. The world should hear that we are very, very responsible as a nation. The world should hear that we are serious at fighting the war against drugs. The world should know that. I mean, national security is doing the best that it can. But if there are things that people with, security is a collective responsibility. If there are pieces of information that people gather that can support a resilient system to fight these menaces, go ahead and provide. We are all talking about the peaceful nature of this country that we are all enjoying. If you respect the fact that in 2016, when President John Dramani Mahama was leaving office, Global Peace Index indicated that Ghana was the 37th most peaceful country in the whole wide world. In 2024, it dropped to 55. Should we continue to drop? No. We should be doing something. And this, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, with his track record in 2016, is back to do what is right. And all of us should support him. And my own good friend, Reverend Tim Fojo, should go ahead and collaborate. And all of us. If there is something that probably Tim Fojo doesn't even also know, and you also know, you can walk to the NIB, you can walk to CID, I have information to you for you. And the police will tell you, if you provide information, it is about your own safety. You are supporting the police to perform so that we can all sleep in peace. All of us are responsible citizens. Let's not sit and say it is somebody's duty. No, somebody is elected to lead, but it is our collective responsibility to support the person to provide us the right leadership, because Ghana is the only country that we have.
Honorable, behind the politics, how damaging are these kinds of drug trafficking allegations to Ghana's international image, especially as a gateway to West Africa. I'm sure you've monitored that. That is the direction that this conversation seems to be taking. This idea, as put forth by Reverend Intim Fojo, that Ghana is fast becoming a drug hub.
Thank you very much. I'm sure that my brothers and sisters who are working with the UNODC, they are sat with these pieces of information. They are in this country to support government, fight the drug war. They are in this country to ensure that our young people can grow without getting addicted to dangerous drugs. And all of a sudden, a member of parliament, not an ordinary member, a ranking member, not of any other committee, a committee in charge of defense and interior, is raising these issues. It makes the matter appear to be very, very serious. And that is why the president waded into it. If your country is declared globally as a drug hub, it affects negatively your image. It affects your economy. It affects investment. Because nobody wants to invest in a country that has a very bad image. Nobody wants to do that. So gradually, our attempt to reset this nation will be negatively affected. But let me...
Does Ghana's security apparatus need a total re-evaluation? Valuation?
Thank you very much. If you look at the 2024 manifesto of the National Democratic Congress, we talk about retooling the army, we talk about retooling the navy, we talk about retooling the air force. You see, it appears that it's a deliberate attempt to just provoke people in this country and create a very bad image for His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama and his entire administration. How can a responsible member of parliament tell the world that on the last day of the last parliament, a loan facility was brought for parliament to approve for them to buy patrol boats for the navy to fight piracy, to fight crimes within the Gulf of Guinea area? And this is a government that has borrowed so much to the point that they cannot even service their debt. This is a government that says we have 8 good years to run this country, and they never thought about the navy. After 8 good, the last day of the 8th parliament, you bring a loan in the night and expect that we should hurriedly pass that loan without thinking about due process, without thinking about value for money. How responsible could we have been if we had done that? And we told them, please, don't rush. What is the agency in this matter? You had 8 years. We can't do this tonight. We're even tired. And you go out there and tell the world that, you see, we are not supportive of the development or retooling of the Navy. When we told you, just wait. In a few weeks, we will reconvene as the ninth government. And we are assuring you, if this is the right thing to do, we'll get the facility, retool the Navy, and probably even do better. And this is something you can tell the world, that we are not responsible, that we don't want to retool the Navy. That particular statement, I was in Parliament that day, and I knew what happened. And you are the government that couldn't even service your debt. And you went into debt exchange, domestic debt exchange, giving people haircuts. A lot of people died from depression. They died from heart attack. They died because their many years of savings had gone to the drain. And you have the gut to tell the world that you wanted to go for a loan and the NDC prevented it. A loan within 24 hours that your government is coming to end. And you had 8 good years. You never thought about the Navy. Can we be serious as a country for once? And when you talk about money laundering, money laundering is a serious matter. It's a serious organized crime. It was through this that evolved that we created IOCO. IOCO, in collaboration with NIB, with the Financial Intelligence Center, they investigate these matters. And this is the ranking member. You see, the Defense and Interior Committee is so solid in its form and character that when we're providing oversight for these security agencies, we know what we're doing.
Right.
And they know the capacity of the committee. When we call you before the committee, the kind of questions we ask you, you should know that there are some experts in there. We know what we're doing and we know what you are expected to do as well. You can't take the committee for granted. And they have a lot of respect for the committee. I would advise my good brother, apart from collaboration, when we come back, let's sit down and see how best he will appreciate the power of that committee and the power in him as a ranking member. That he doesn't necessarily have to be in the media space to get answers. He can get answers representing the good people of Asin. He can get answers represent the Minority Caucus when it comes to matters of defense and interior without necessarily speaking to the media. And if he wants to come and brief the media after getting answers, he will be giving information to the media, always building national peace and security, and that would be appreciative.
Well, time check, it is some 12 minutes to the top of the 9 a.m. You're still locked in on 3FM Sunrise, on 3FM 92.7. We're having our big conversation of the morning. You're listening to Honorable Peter Tobu, Member of Parliament for Wa West, and also Vice Chairperson of the Defence and Interior Committee in Parliament. We are discussing some recent allegations of drug trafficking at the Kotoka International Airport. Now, Honorable, if nothing incriminating is found, should there be consequences for Reverend Intim Fojo, and also in general consequences for false alarms, or shall I say politically or seemingly politically motivated allegations that damage national reputation? Or do we treat this as part of democratic accountability?
Thank you very much. Let's not put the cart before the horse, and let's not make statements that will mean that if Honorable Intim Fojo finally cannot prove his allegations, something untoward can happen to him. He's an elected member of Parliament, and even damaging your own reputation by peddling falsehood is a punishment that you will die with. I mean, you will end your life one day and wish that you will never make those statements. Terrible statements. But let's prove them. It will help our national peace and security. Let no one think it's just a red herring. I wouldn't want to go that way. He's a ranking member. He's a very senior person in Parliament. He can't be just around for tourism's sake. He knows what he's doing. Let's give him the opportunity to do the best that he can to support in collaboration with the security agencies for us to unravel these matters. It is good for him. It is good for Parliament. It is good for Ghana.
Honorable, thank you so much for your time this morning and for putting some more flesh on the bones. So from everything you've said, I gather that you would support a full public parliamentary probe, broadcast live, so Ghanaians can follow along and judge for ourselves?
I'm supporting the directive given by His Excellency the President. The initial collaboration is a complicated matter to investigate. MS is not an agency. People do not know. This is an organization that has made health easy in terms of flying people from one continent to better medical health care. So it is not a complicated matter. What is important now is collaboration. Security agencies are directed by the President and my good friend, Honorable Intim Fojo, and then we'll pick from there.
Certainly. Honorable, thank you so much for your time this morning. Do have a wonderful Tuesday. Again, Honorable Peter Tobu, Vice Chairperson, Defence and Interior Committee in Parliament, also MP for Wa West, weighing in on these recent allegations as put forth by the ranking member on that same committee, Reverend Intim Fojo.
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3FM.
What are your thoughts on this particular issue? Do connect with us on our socials, and you can find us on X, on Facebook, also on Instagram. The hashtag we're using this morning, it is hashtag 3FM Sunrise. Have your questions been answered, your burning questions? Well, do let us know where you stand. We'll read out some of your thoughts on this issue.